Hey everyone, and welcome back for another deep dive.
Yeah.
Today we're looking at Tools of Titans by Tim Ferriss,
Oh, yeah.
and it's it's really cool because it's kind of like this cheat sheet
Right.
to getting advice from world-class
Oh,
performers,
absolutely.
and you'll get a taste of everything.
Yeah.
Ancient philosophy,
Right.
biohacking,
Mm-hmm.
all focused on helping you unlock your potential.
That's right. And I think what's really interesting is what we're doing is like pulling out those golden nuggets of wisdom
Yeah.
from all those interviews that Tim did with top performers from so many fields.
Yeah.
So we're going to look at those and give you some really interesting takeaways.
Now, Kim's book is packed with insights.
Yeah.
But we're also going to be kind of like weaving in some wisdom
Okay.
from the classic novel Siddhartha by Hermann Hesse.
Interesting.
And you might be thinking ancient philosophy and high-performance hacks.
Yeah.
Trust me, the connections are mind-blowing.
What's fascinating is that Siddhartha actually gives us a framework, I think, for understanding these high achievers' mindsets.
Okay.
And the main character, Siddhartha, he highlights three key tools:
Okay.
thinking, waiting, and fasting. And we're going to see how these seemingly simple concepts pop up again and again in the success stories from Tools of Titans.
Okay, so let's unpack these tools in the book.
Okay.
Siddhartha is asked, what can you give?
Right.
And his answer is, I can think, I can wait, I can fast.
Interesting.
What do you make of that?
It's deceptively simple, right?
Yeah.
Like, I can think isn't just about basic brain function.
Yeah.
It's about making clear, deliberate decisions and knowing which questions to ask.
Mm-hmm.
And that's fundamental for anyone trying to achieve a goal.
Right.
Whether it's launching a business or just improving your fitness.
What about waiting? Is that just me being patient?
Well, patience is part of it, but waiting in this context is more strategic.
Okay.
Think about it. High achievers often delay gratification
Yeah.
and play the long game. Right.
They're willing to invest the time and energy now
Yeah.
for a payoff down the line.
So like planting a seed and like nurturing it, knowing it takes time to grow into like a strong tree.
Exactly.
So it's about planning and managing your resources for the long haul.
Mm-hmm.
And then we have fasting.
Right.
Now, this one seems a bit more literal, but I'm guessing there's a deeper meaning here.
Absolutely. Fasting is about resilience, both physically and mentally.
Okay.
It's about withstanding discomfort, whether it's hunger pangs or facing challenging situations.
Yeah.
Think of the mental toughness of an athlete pushing through pain, or an entrepreneur navigating a tough market.
Yeah. It's amazing how these ancient principles are still so relevant in today's world.
Right.
And it makes me wonder, how do these ideas play out in the lives of these high achievers that Tim interviewed?
That's what we'll be uncovering as we go, but let's move on to a specific example from Tools of Titans that I think really highlights this.
Okay.
And that is gymnast strength training.
Tim features Coach Christopher Summer, who has a unique approach to building functional strength.
This one really caught my eye, too.
Yeah.
I've always been intrigued by the incredible strength and control that gymnasts have.
Mm-hmm.
I even tried some of Coach Summer's protocols myself
Wow.
and was blown away by the results. I felt stronger in ways that I hadn't expected, especially in areas that I thought I was weak.
I think the beauty of gymnast strength training is it focuses on building real-world strengths, not just bulking up.
Right.
It's about developing a body that can move efficiently and gracefully in any situation. Think about it. How much easier would everyday tasks be if you had the strength and mobility of a gymnast?
Exactly. And it's not about spending hours in the gym. Coach Summer recommends some unique exercises that you can do anywhere.
Right.
One that really stood out to me was the QL walk.
Ah, the QL walk. It's a deceptively simple warm-up
Yeah.
that targets muscles in your glutes and back that often get neglected.
Yeah, it's amazing how such a small movement can make a difference. You really feel those muscles working, and it preps your body for more challenging exercises.
And that's the essence of functional strength, right?
Yeah.
Working those often overlooked muscles that contribute to overall strength and stability.
Yeah.
Another great example from Coach Summer is the hinge row. Have you tried that one?
I have, and it's a game changer for building strength in your upper back and shoulders.
Yeah.
It's low risk, and you don't need any fancy equipment, which makes it perfect for people who are just starting out or want to train at home.
It's all about building a solid foundation for those impressive handstands, right?
Exactly. But even if you never plan to do a handstand, the hinge row is a great way to improve your posture and prevent those nagging shoulder aches that so many people experience.
Yeah, it's interesting how these exercises mimic natural movements
Yeah.
and push your body in ways that traditional weightlifting often doesn't.
All right, now we're stepping into the world of biohacking. and I'm getting excited.
Okay.
We're going to explore Dom DeAgostino's ketogenic diet protocol for rapid fat loss.
Yeah, the ketogenic diet has definitely gained a lot of traction in recent years.
Yeah?
By drastically reducing your carb intake, you're essentially forcing your body to burn fat for fuel instead of glucose.
Right.
It can be an effective way to lose weight quickly,
Mm-hmm.
but it's essential to approach it with caution.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's not for everyone, and it's crucial to consult with a healthcare professional before making any major dietary changes.
Yeah.
What are some of the potential drawbacks?
Well, some people experience what's called the keto flu when they first start,
Okay.
which can involve fatigue, headaches, and nausea.
Right.
And it's important to make sure you're getting enough electrolytes.
In Tools of Titans, Dom lays out a specific 3-day fasting protocol that incorporates strategic phone call scheduling to maintain productivity.
Interesting.
He even suggests using ketone supplements like Keto Force
Okay.
for an extra boost of energy and mental clarity.
Yeah, that's a great example of how even with something like fasting, which
Yeah.
is an ancient practice, you can bring in modern tools and techniques to make it more effective.
And it ties back to that idea of fasting from Siddhartha.
Yeah.
It's not just about abstaining from food.
Right.
It's about pushing your limits,
Mm-hmm.
building resilience,
Yes.
and challenging those preconceived notions of what you can handle.
Whew, I like that connection.
Yeah.
Dom is talking about physical fasting,
Yeah.
but we can also apply this concept to mental and emotional resilience.
Okay.
Training your mind to withstand discomfort can
Right.
help you overcome challenges and achieve things you never thought possible.
Okay, so we've talked about physical strength and resilience.
Yeah.
But what about optimizing our mental performance?
Right.
Tim has some fascinating insights on that in Tools of Titans.
I think sleep is often the most overlooked aspect of peak performance,
Oh, yeah.
wouldn't you say?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I used to skimp on sleep thinking I could just power through on caffeine.
Right.
But now I understand how crucial it is for everything,
Yeah.
from cognitive function to emotional well-being.
Yeah.
It's like hitting the reset button for your brain.
One of the most interesting tools Tim recommends is the Chillipad. Have you heard of that?
Oh, yes. The Chillipad has been a game changer for me.
Okay.
It's a temperature-controlled mattress pad
Mm.
that lets you personalize your sleep temperature.
Interesting.
No more waking up sweaty or freezing in the middle of the night.
I can see how that would make a huge difference.
Yeah.
Even slight temperature fluctuations can disrupt your sleep cycles and affect your energy levels the next day.
Another simple hack from the book is having a drink of honey and apple cider vinegar before bed.
Mm.
Sounds a bit strange, right?
It does sound unusual, but
Yeah.
I'm curious, why does that work?
Well, it's thought to help regulate blood sugar levels and promote insulin sensitivity,
Okay.
which can lead to more stable sleep cycles.
Interesting.
No more 3 a.m. wake-ups.
There you go.
Ugh.
Simple yet effective.
Yeah.
Shows that sometimes we overcomplicate things when the solutions are right there in front of us.
What are some of the other mental performance hacks that stood out to you from the book?
Well, Tim also talks about strategies for increasing focus and productivity.
Okay.
And he has a special tea recipe he calls titanium tea,
Oh.
which is a blend of puree tea dragon, tea turmeric, and ginger,
Wow.
all known for their cognitive enhancing properties.
That's a powerful combination. I can see why he calls it titanium tea.
Yeah,
Have you tried it?
I have not yet.
Oh, yeah. It's become my go-to afternoon pick-me-up.
Okay,
It gives me that extra mental edge without the jitters of coffee.
I like it.
Tim also talks about the Pomodoro technique,
Okay,
which is a time management method for maximizing focus and productivity.
I have. And it's surprisingly effective.
Really?
The idea is you work in focused bursts of 25 minutes,
Okay.
followed by a 5-minute break.
Yeah.
This helps to maintain concentration and prevent mental fatigue, leading to better quality work overall.
It's a simple concept, but it really works,
It does.
especially for those tasks that tend to drain your mental energy. Speaking of energy, let's shift gears and explore Kim's insights on boosting creativity and resilience.
Creativity. That elusive yet essential quality
Right.
that fuels innovation and problem solving.
Mm.
I'm eager to hear what Tim discovered from his Titans.
One of the standout examples is Chase Jarvis's 20% time practice.
Okay.
Chase is a renowned photographer and entrepreneur,
Okay.
and he attributes much of his success to this concept.
20% time. Refresh my memory on what that is.
It's all about dedicating 20% of your work time to unstructured exploration and experimentation.
Hmm.
Think of it as giving yourself permission to play,
Right.
brainstorm new ideas, or pursue passion projects
Mm-hmm.
without the pressure of immediate results.
I love that. It's like giving your mind space to wander and
Yeah.
make those unexpected connections that often lead to breakthroughs.
Exactly. It's about shifting from a mindset of scarcity
Right.
to one of abundance when it comes to creativity.
Mm-hmm.
And on the topic of resilience,
Okay.
Tim introduces the concept of fear setting, which involves directly confronting your fears to diminish their power.
That reminds me of Siddhartha's third tool, the ability to fast.
Yeah.
In this context, it's about fasting from fear,
Right.
refusing to let it dictate your choices and actions.
Exactly. By facing our fears head on, we can starve them of their power and liberate ourselves to pursue our goals.
It's about reframing fear as a signal that we're on the right track, pushing beyond our comfort zones
Right.
and stepping into uncharted territory.
Well, we've covered a lot of ground in this first part of our deep dive.
Yeah, we have.
From Siddhartha's ancient wisdom to Coach Summers' strength training and Dom D'Agostino's ketogenic approach. We've explored a range of tools for unlocking your physical and mental potential.
It's amazing how interconnected these ideas are
It really is.
and how they apply to so many different areas of life.
And we've only just scratched the surface.
Stay tuned for part 2, where we'll delve into some even more unconventional strategies and mind-expanding insights from Tools of Titans. Welcome back, everyone. Let's continue our exploration of Tools of Titans. We've covered some practical techniques for strength resilience and productivity. Now we're going to venture into some more unconventional territory. Get ready for some mind-bending insights.
I'm all for mind bending. Tim's book definitely doesn't shy away from exploring the fringes of human potential. One area that really piqued my curiosity was the discussion of microdosing psychedelics, specifically LSD.
This is a topic that's often met with skepticism and controversy, but Tim's guests offer some fascinating perspectives. One guest, Dr. James Fadiman, has spent decades researching the potential benefits of microdosing LSD.
For those who aren't familiar, microdosing involves taking a very small dose of LSD, typically around 10 to 20 micrograms, not enough to induce a full-blown psychedelic experience.
Right. It's important to emphasize that LSD is still an illegal substance in most countries, and we are in no way endorsing its use. However, Dr. Fadiman's research suggests that microdosing LSD may enhance creativity focus and emotional well-being. It's a topic that's generating increasing interest within the scientific community.
Another guest entrepreneur, Kevin Rose, shared his own experience with microdosing, claiming it helped him overcome writer's block and boost his productivity. But he also stressed the importance of responsible use and thorough research.
Right. These accounts challenge our preconceived notions about psychedelics, suggesting that when used responsibly and in controlled settings, they may have potential therapeutic benefits.
Of course, it's crucial to prioritize safety and consult with a healthcare professional before considering any experimentation with substances, especially ones with such potent effects as psychedelics.
Absolutely. Safety should always be the top priority. Now let's shift gears to another powerful substance. Tim explores ibogaine.
Ibogaine was completely new to me before reading Tools of Titans. It's a psychedelic derived from the root bark of an African shrub.
Right. Ibogaine has traditionally been used in spiritual and healing ceremonies. In recent years, it's gained attention for its potential in treating addiction.
Tim interviewed Dr. Martin Polanco, a leading ibogaine researcher, who explained how this substance can interrupt addiction cycles and reduce withdrawal symptoms, particularly for opiates. It's incredible to think that something derived from nature could have such a profound impact on the brain.
It's believed that ibogaine interacts with various neurotransmitter systems, essentially resetting the neural pathways associated with addiction. However, it's important to note that ibogaine can be extremely dangerous, especially for individuals with certain health conditions.
Exactly. It's crucial to seek treatment only from qualified medical professionals and in safe, controlled environments. Self-treatment is strongly discouraged due to the potential for serious side effects.
Okay, let's move from the intense world of psychedelics to something a bit more grounded mobility training.
Yes, mobility. It's so crucial for overall health and performance, but often gets overlooked. Tim's guest, Kelly Starrett, is a renowned physical therapist and mobility expert. He offers some simple yet powerful techniques that anyone can incorporate into their routine. What were some of the key takeaways for you?
Well, I love Kelly's straightforward approach. One of his core principles is, if you can't breathe in a position, you don't own it. It's a reminder that proper breathing is essential for good movement.
That makes so much sense. You know, we often hold our breath or breathe shallowly when we're stressed or exerting ourselves. Kelly's point is that restricted breathing can be a sign of tightness or underlying dysfunction.
Right. He also recommends some specific mobilizations that everyone should do every day, like the cow stretch for spinal flexibility and spending time in a lunge position to improve hip mobility. He even talks about smashing your gut with a medicine ball.
I have to admit that one sounded a bit intense to me at first, smashing your gut before bed. But Kelly explains that it's actually a great way to downregulate your nervous system and promote relaxation. I was skeptical, but I have to say it's surprisingly effective.
It's another example of those unconventional techniques that can be surprisingly effective. Kelly's also a big advocate for compression socks, particularly after intense workouts or long periods of sitting. Have you tried those?
I'm a total convert to compression socks.
Mm-hmm.
I used to think they were just for athletes.
Yeah.
But they really do help to reduce swelling and improve circulation, especially if you're on your feet all day or travel frequently.
It's like a mini massage for your legs.
Speaking of recovery, we can't forget about sleep, which Tim emphasizes throughout the book. We've already talked about the Chilipad and the honey and apple cider vinegar drink, but there are so many other gems in there.
One that stood out to me was Tim's recommendation to listen to guided meditations or watch short, uplifting TV shows before bed.
It seems counterintuitive to watch TV before bed, right? But Tim explains that engaging in a mentally stimulating activity that isn't overly stressful can actually help to quiet the mind and promote relaxation. It's about shifting your focus away from those worries and anxieties that tend to keep us up at night.
Makes sense. It's about finding ways to wind down and signal to your brain that it's time to rest. What other sleep tips resonated with you?
Tim also highlights the importance of creating a consistent sleep routine, optimizing your sleep environment, and avoiding caffeine and alcohol before bed. It's all about setting yourself up for success when it comes to getting a good night's rest.
Those are all great reminders. We often underestimate the power of simple lifestyle changes when it comes to improving our sleep.
Now let's talk about a topic that often gets met with resistance: meditation. Tim dedicates an entire section of the book to exploring the benefits of meditation and sharing insights from experienced practitioners.
Meditation can be a game changer for reducing stress, improving focus, and cultivating a sense of inner peace. But I know a lot of people struggle to establish a consistent practice.
One of the key takeaways from Tools of Titans is that there's no one-size-fits-all approach to meditation. It's important to experiment and find a style that resonates with you and fits your lifestyle. Some people prefer guided meditations, while others thrive with silent meditation. The key is to find what works for you and make it a regular part of your routine.
I think that's a crucial point. So many people give up on meditation because they try to force themselves into a style that doesn't feel natural or enjoyable.
Another important insight is the power of social support. Finding a meditation buddy or joining a group can provide accountability and motivation, making it easier to stick with the practice. It's all about finding your tribe and supporting each other on the journey.
That makes sense. We're social creatures, and having a community to share the experience with can make all the difference. Did Tim offer any tips for beginners who are just starting out with meditation?
Absolutely. He emphasizes the importance of starting small and gradually increasing your meditation time. Even just 5 minutes a day can make a difference. It's about consistency and building a sustainable practice, not about striving for perfection.
That's great advice. It's about making meditation a seamless part of your life, not adding another item to your already overflowing to-do list. Speaking of to-do lists, let's delve into Tim's productivity hacks. Any standouts for you?
One that really resonated with me was the must-do method. It's deceptively simple, but incredibly effective. The idea is to identify your most important task for the day and prioritize it above all else.
It's about focusing on those high-impact activities that will move the needle on your goals rather than getting bogged down in busy work.
Exactly. It's a great way to combat procrastination and ensure that you're making progress on the things that truly matter. And of course, we can't forget about the Pomodoro technique, which we discussed earlier. Those focused 25-minute work sessions followed by a 5-minute break can be a game changer for productivity.
It's amazing how such a simple technique can make such a difference. It's all about working with your natural energy cycles and giving your brain those much-needed breaks to recharge.
Now let's dive into a topic that often triggers fear and anxiety: fear setting.
Tim presents fear setting as a structured process for confronting your fears head-on and diminishing their power. It's about dissecting your fears, identifying potential solutions, and developing a plan of action.
It sounds counterintuitive, but facing your fears directly can actually make them less intimidating. It's like shining a light on the monster under the bed and realizing it's not so scary after all.
Tim outlines a 3-step process for fear setting.
First, you define your nightmare scenario. What's the absolute worst thing that could happen if you pursued your goal? Let your imagination run wild and paint a vivid picture of that worst-case scenario.
Next, you brainstorm solutions for each potential negative outcome. For every fear, you identify concrete steps you could take to mitigate the damage or get back on track.
And finally, you consider the cost of inaction. What are the consequences of not pursuing your goal? What opportunities might you be missing out on? Often the fear of inaction is far greater than the fear of action.
Absolutely. The Dickens process involves visualizing 3 different versions of yourself.
First, you imagine yourself 10 years in the past. What were your beliefs, values, and aspirations back then? What were you struggling with? What mistakes did you make? What lessons did you learn?
Next, you envision yourself 10 years in the future, assuming you continue on your current path. What does your life look like? Are you fulfilled and happy? Or are you filled with regret and disappointment?
And finally, you imagine yourself 10 years in the future, assuming you make a radical change and pursue your wildest dreams. What does this alternative future hold? What are you doing? Who are you with? How do you feel?
By comparing these 3 versions of yourself, you can gain valuable insights into your current trajectory and identify areas where you might be self-sabotaging or holding yourself back.
It's about recognizing those limiting beliefs that we often hold on to unconsciously. We might tell ourselves, I'm not good enough, or I'll never be able to achieve that. The Dickens process helps us to bring those beliefs to the surface and challenge them.
Exactly. It's about reclaiming your agency and making conscious choices about the direction of your life.
Now let's shift gears to a topic that's essential for building meaningful connections and fostering collaboration networking.
Networking is often viewed as a transactional endeavor, but Tim's guests emphasize the importance of building genuine relationships based on mutual respect and shared interests.
One of the most insightful perspectives came from entrepreneur and investor Naval Ravikant. He advocates for a specific knowledge approach to networking.
He suggests that instead of trying to be a generalist, focus on developing expertise in a particular area. This will make you more valuable to others and attract individuals who share your interests and expertise.
It's about becoming a sought-after resource in your field, rather than just another face in the crowd.
Naval also emphasizes the importance of giving more than you take. Instead of approaching networking with a transactional mindset, focus on providing value to others, whether it's through sharing your knowledge connections or simply offering a listening ear.
That's where the principle of reciprocity comes into play. When you genuinely help others, they're more likely to reciprocate and support you in return.
Another insightful perspective came from entrepreneur and investor Chris Sacca. He highlights the importance of playing the long game in networking. It's not about instant gratification or short-term gains. It's about cultivating relationships that can yield benefits for years to come.
This ties back to Siddhartha's principle of waiting, doesn't it? It's about being patient, consistent, and focusing on building genuine connections rather than chasing fleeting opportunities.
Exactly. And remember, networking isn't just about advancing your career. It's about building a community of like-minded individuals who can support you, challenge you, and inspire you to reach your full potential.
Welcome back. We're in the final stretch of our deep dive into Tools of Titans. Get ready for some mind-expanding insights as we explore strategies for tapping into creativity, conquering fear, and living a more fulfilling life.
We're about to uncover a treasure trove of wisdom from some of the most innovative and unconventional thinkers of our time.
I love that, a treasure trove of wisdom. So let's start with a topic that often feels a bit mysterious, creativity.
Yeah.
What does it actually mean to be creative? And how can we unlock our own creative potential?
Tim's guests challenge the idea that creativity is a talent reserved for a select few.
Okay.
They see it more as a skill you can develop through practice and experimentation.
That's encouraging to hear. I think a lot of people, myself included, sometimes feel intimidated by the idea of being creative.
Right.
One of Tim's guests, filmmaker Robert Rodriguez, said something that really struck me. Creativity is an infinite resource. The more you spend, the more you have.
That's such a powerful reframe. It takes the pressure off, doesn't it?
Yeah.
If we believe creativity is a limited resource, we might be afraid to use it up.
Right.
But if it's infinite, we can dive in without fear.
It's like a muscle that gets stronger with use.
Exactly.
The more we engage in creative activities, the more we expand our capacity for innovation and problem solving.
And remember Chase Jarvis's 20% time practice, which we discussed earlier.
Yeah.
Dedicating a portion of your time to unstructured exploration and experimentation can be a game changer for sparking creativity.
It's about giving yourself permission to brainstorm new ideas and pursue passion projects, even if they seem a bit out there.
Exactly. It's about shifting from a scarcity mindset to one of abundance. When we believe that creative possibilities are limitless, we're more likely to take risks and make those unexpected breakthroughs.
Now let's talk about something that can really hold us back from pursuing our dreams.
Yeah.
Right. Fear is a natural human emotion, but we don't have to let it control us. One recurring theme in Tools of Titans is the importance of defining our fears.
Okay.
As the Stoic philosopher Seneca said, we suffer more often in imagination than in reality.
It's like that old saying, most of the things I worry about never happen, but it's hard to shake those fears sometimes.
It can be. But remember Tim's fear-setting exercise.
Right.
The first step is to define your nightmare scenario. Really get specific about what you're afraid of and play it out in your mind. Right? By confronting our fears head-on and envisioning the worst-case scenario, we often realize that it's not as terrifying as we imagined.
And the next step is to brainstorm solutions for each potential negative outcome.
Okay.
This helps us shift from feeling helpless to feeling empowered.
It's about taking back control and realizing that we have options even if things don't go as planned.
Another powerful technique for overcoming fear is to focus on what we can control.
Good.
Entrepreneur Derek Sivers has a great mantra: if it's not a hell yes, it's a no.
I love that.
Yeah.
It's about being discerning about the opportunities we pursue and putting our energy into things that truly excite and inspire us.
Yeah.
When we're fully aligned with our goals, fear has less power to hold us back.
Okay, let's shift gears to a topic that's fundamental to living a fulfilling life: purpose.
Finding our purpose, that driving force that gives our lives meaning and direction,
Right.
can be a lifelong journey. What are some of the insights that resonated with you from Tools of Titans?
Well, author and entrepreneur Seth Godin suggests that the interesting jobs are the ones that you make up. This reminds us that we don't have to wait for someone to hand us our purpose.
Right.
We have the power to create it.
It's about identifying our passions, skills, and values, and finding a way to combine them in a way that makes a positive impact on the world.
Filmmaker Robert Rodriguez had a thought-provoking perspective.
Oh,
You never have to be upset about anything.
wow. That's a bold statement.
Right? It might sound extreme at first,
Yeah.
but what he's really getting at is the power of choosing our response to any situation.
We can't always control what happens to us,
Right.
but we can control how we react.
Exactly.
We can choose to dwell in negativity, or we can choose to find the opportunity for growth and learning.
It's a powerful reminder that we have more agency than we often realize.
And finally, I want to touch on a concept from Tools of Titans that I found particularly thought-provoking.
Okay.
Pacing in a 10 by 10 patch of grass.
Ah, yes. This is one of Tim's own metaphors. It challenges us to examine the self-imposed limitations that might be holding us back from experiencing the fullness of life.
It's like we've created this imaginary boundary for ourselves and we're too afraid to step outside of it. But what if everything we desire most lies just beyond that 10 by 10 patch of grass?
It's about questioning our assumptions and asking ourselves, where am I playing it safe? Where am I afraid to venture beyond my comfort zone? What am I missing out on because of my fear of failure or judgment?
It's a call to break free from those self-imposed limitations and explore the vast expanse of possibilities that lie beyond our perceived boundaries.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, I want to ask you a question.
Okay.
What insights have resonated with you the most?
Hmm.
What actions are you inspired to take?
Remember, the journey of self-discovery and growth is ongoing. Keep exploring, keep experimenting, and keep pushing beyond those perceived limitations. You have the power to create a life that is both meaningful and extraordinary.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into Tools of Titans. We hope you've gleaned some valuable insights and are excited to apply them to your own life.
Until next time, keep seeking, keep learning, and keep striving to become the best version of yourself.